RacewayOne's coverage of the 2022 BRCA 1/10th Offroad Nationals is brought to you by Model Tune, Schumacher and RC Octane. You are very, very welcome to Torch in sunny Southampton, very sunny Southampton this morning. And we are here for round 5 of the 2022 BRCA 1/10th Offroad National Series. And I've managed to get my hands on section chairman Martin Owen. And I'm going to put a few questions to him for your interest. And we'll see what he has to say. So Martin, thanks for joining us.
No problem.
Absolutely gorgeous day.
Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it?
And
Lovely.
we've had gorgeous days for the whole season.
We have.
I know your good friend Aidan Burke won't want me mentioning the shower brain, but it's pretty much been dry the whole way.
Yeah, it has been very dry.
I have a few questions to put to you, if you don't mind.
No problem.
I'm sure the viewers will have an interest. So we're 5 and a bit nationals in.
Yeah.
Out of 6.
Yeah.
It's been a tight. Two-wheel drive has been tight. Yeah. I know Neil Craig won yesterday, but it's been tight for when people like Michael Lowski and Lee Martin are here. But tell me, from your point of view, how has the season gone so far?
It's gone better than I thought it would. It's gone very smooth. I was very nervous coming into Kidderminster, not knowing how it was going to go.
Sure.
And it's a great team with Mark Musgrove in timekeeping, John Cockle being rep, a bit of an old team and a new team. And with Paul Worsley still helping in the background, it's gone very well. We've had a few hiccups, but it's to be, there's things out of your control. But it's been enjoyable. I've enjoyed it. And I think I was, after that round with Kiddie, it went so well. I thought, we can't keep doing this. And it has. We've had a few little technical issues, but it's from my point of view, it's gone very well. The racing's been good. People have behaved. It's been very good.
Good. And talking about sort of the personal aspect of the championship, not just the racing, but people arriving from all different backgrounds, and what sort of surprised you the most over the year?
I would say the youngsters, for sure. Just how we've had this COVID break. We've had a change of the guard. We've seen people retire. Ellis Stafford, Danny McGee, Tom Yardy he hasn't retired, but he's taken a year out. We've had a change. We've had Ben Smith come in. We've had Jamie and Tommy Hall. I mean, Tommy winning the Euros was just unbelievable. And we have Paul Crompton winning his first national. That was a highlight personally for me, having raced with him for so long. But just seeing all these youngsters, there's probably 20 you could name that have just come through, that are just blowing the old guard away, etc. But Neil is still Neil, and he's still keeping him on his toes. Is it 29 or 28?
26.
26. I was at championships yesterday. I mean, wow, what can you say?
Neil, I think I've gone on the record saying I think Neil is a seriously cool character.
Yeah.
And he came off the rostrum yesterday after winning enough A finals to seal the championship. And he was chatting to Chris Boughton, and they weren't sure whether they won the championship or not. And I was able to confirm, yes, you're champion. And he went, what? I won it. I went, yeah. And he went, and that was it. There was a slight smile. There was no shouting and screaming or anything. Just, that's it. Number 26.
Unbelievable.
So you're talking about changing the old guard, and you mentioned Paul Worsley. Obviously, a huge change to this championship. This championship essentially was owned by Paul for so many years, and he kept those standards high. And it's got to be a big reason why the BRCA Nationals are revered across Europe, dare I say, across the world.
Yeah.
If you want to take your race to the next level, you've got to be here. It doesn't matter how far you have to travel. But now you've taken over. Paul wasn't a racer.
No.
You're a racer.
Yeah.
Do you find that your insight from the racers, from the customer's point of view, dare I say, has really given you a benefit and how it helps?
Yeah, because I think when a racer comes to you with an issue or a problem, or we have an issue, you can see it from a racer's eyes. I mean, Paul, funny enough, at the Euros, I was talking to Paul. Paul did race once, which I didn't ever know, which was quite interesting when him and Hanu got cars and they kind of started. but he said he stepped away very quickly. But you know, a lot's changed in the hobby since those days to now. And being a racer, yeah, you can certainly see things through how a little thing can affect you when you're up on that rostrum. And if you weren't a racer, you would never pick up on it. I think unfortunately, it's probably hard for the guys who race with me because they're quite scared to take you out because they're worried that they've nailed the chairman. But, you know, as I say to them, no, you just drive how just do it how you normally do it.
Sure.
But it has given an insight and I want to improve things going forward that I think we can improve. I'll never go home from one of these. And when Paul will ring me on a Monday or Sunday night, how did it go? Yeah, it was okay. And he keeps saying, well, you never come home and say, yeah, it's going great. I said, no, because in my eyes, it'll never be perfect.
And there's always development, there's always tuning, you're always looking for the next step.
The next thing, you know, they're a lot smoother now. And as my racing, I mean, I'm old now, I'm almost 50, and, you know, I'm going backwards, not forwards with the racing. Sure. But it was hard to begin with to do the chairman thing and the racing thing. But, you know, when we talked about taking this role on, I did say, I still want to race.
Sure.
Especially having missed the last 2 years. How much longer I race for? Maybe a year. Maybe this will be it this year. I'm not sure yet. You know, because it does need the chairman role. You have to be on the ball all the time. And when I'm up there racing, you'll be concentrating, but you'll hear a conversation going on about how something's going. And of course, me being me, I switch off from the racing and start listening to the conversation. You know, and I've always said if there was an issue and I had to miss a round of qualifying to go and deal with something, you go and do it. The chairman comes before the racing. But I still enjoy the racing, obviously.
Well, what's nice is you mentioned there about people being worried about taking the chairman out on the track. What's nice is you do seem to have the rule structure and you have the refereeing structure that really, there's no way that one individual could be singled out.
No.
And there's no way that there could be unfairness or perceived unfairness. Everybody gets treated the same. Even down to the venues. The venues all get treated the same. There's no like own venue or preferred venue. Everybody travels and you know, that's a testament to the series, the strength of the series again.
Yeah.
So, changing tack a bit, moving away from the Nationals and talking about the Euros at Robin Hood and obviously homegrown success at the Euros. Maybe you were there, you were team manager, you might like to tell us a little bit about how the Euros went.
I mean, I was team manager. I've only done it twice before, once in Pinarello, once in China. I decided that being chairman, I think it's a role you should do for your British team. And we went into it, no expectations into the two-wheel drive, and we popped up with the winner. Unbelievable. I mean, and the team atmosphere in that tent was amazing. It didn't care. The great thing about that, and I got it across, was it doesn't matter who you drive for. When you're at a Euros or Worlds, you know, you're a British driver and you're driving for your country. And that's what it's on. And that did come across really well. And everyone has worked as a team, you know, and unfortunately I don't think we got it on camera. When Tommy won, we had a sort of almost a mini party back in the gazebo, or in the tent, I would say, you know. But we made him wait outside, you know, and he didn't know what was going on. He came into a massive round of applause, and it was amazing. And to see Lee, Martin, Neil, they were so happy. I know, you know, they've been there, they've done it, but they were so happy to see that. I think that torch is being passed on. That they're, you know, they've carried it for so long. You know, we've come to a national for years. It's either Lee wins or Neil wins, and or Tom Yardy would pop one in there every now and then, or someone else. But it's great to see that, you know, we have a young European champion, and the Euros at Robin Hood. We struggle for volunteers. It seems to be a massive issue in the hobby at the moment, getting people to help, and they struggled a little bit, but it did not deter from how good the event was. It's still, in my eyes, from a team manager point of view, it ran to clockwork. The venue was amazing. James, Eugene, Steve Pierce did an awesome job, you know, and you know it, and I know it. A lot of people don't see what goes on in the background, and They worked so hard to do such a good job, and they pulled it off. Yeah, it wasn't as big as it was in 2015, but we've had a lot affect it since then. COVID, cost of living.
You're mentioning there about the lack of volunteers.
Yeah.
It's hard because the events are becoming. This event's a classic example.
Yeah.
Much more organised.
Yeah.
They're becoming from a organisers like yourself, so say the governing organisers coming into the club organisers.
Yeah.
It's almost turnkey. You just turn up and the place is ready to go.
Yeah.
But as the standards raise, the customer or the driver's expectations raise as well.
Yeah.
And you cross the line where what a volunteer's prepared to do is no longer satisfactory.
No, it's not.
And it's a very difficult situation because you will find in some events where the volunteers are taking a lot of stick because the drivers are expecting professionals. And that's something I'm not sure. I know a lot of people have resisted the sport heading towards a professional setting, and that could be a good reason to not have it progress. Or else a professional organisation team, perhaps the same organisational team would organise A scale, 10 scale, A scale on road, their full-time BRCA employees. Maybe that's the way.
Maybe. I mean, it's just people. Time is more precious now. It's more expensive. Myself, I help at a track down where I live, but it's a 30-mile, 40-mile round trip to go and help. And 10 years ago, you didn't think about it. It's a couple of pounds fuel. You just go drive and help for the day. And I still want to help, but it costs more to go and do it. So, but the clubs can, without going financially, reward the help. We can give free racing. We can give free track time. We can give free memberships to those that actually do come and help. You just have to explore other avenues to get people to come. And also when they're helping, make sure they enjoy it. There's nothing worse than it feeling like work.
Yes.
I remember back when I was a kid and they'd be building dirt tracks. They'd build the dirt track in the morning. If you went and helped build the dirt track in the morning, you got to drive on it in the afternoon. And it got built really quick. But I understand, time is precious. And
time is precious. It seems to be more precious. COVID seems to have made it more precious than ever.
It does, yeah.
So one final question for you, and you may not be able to answer this yet. But let's assume that we all get our way and you are retained as the section chairman for next year. Because I think you've done a great job.
Thank you.
What sort of little things would you like to see? Let's say, what's the development for
What's the
next year?
development? So I think there's a few areas that need looking at. Only little tweaks. I think that the meetings obviously do run very smooth. I would like to look at maybe some of the seeding system, maybe slightly clearer in the book. A lot of it is making the rules that Paul and others are very good, but there's just some that just aren't as watertight as I think we can make them. And I always say, if you've got that book of rules and it's watertight, it makes everyone's job easier. Because when someone brings something up, it's there written down and you can go, there we go. And quite openly at the Euros, we allowed the gluing sidewalls of the front tyres. I think that should be allowed. I think it makes the car easier to drive, which I think encourages maybe more people. Our four-wheel drive numbers, as of today, we had 118 yesterday and we've got 83 or 84 today. I'm not sure why four-wheel drive, and it's not just national, it's regionally well, has declined. Is it the cost of the kits? Is it because they're hard to drive? Two-wheel drive's hugely popular in club racing, so I can't ever remember really club racing a four-wheel. It was always a two-wheel. So whether something there has to change. So that's where my emphasis is kind of looking, is to try and get the entries for the four-wheel drive. And venues. We're not hugely rich even in the UK in venues.
Yeah.
Of tracks that either want to hold a national or can, because there are rules and regulations to meet what the requirements are to have a national, and it could be tight this year. We're quite lucky with what they're doing at Nemo. That looks an amazing venue, and what they've done is they've made an 8th track that they can turn into a 10th track. A couple of people say, it gets wet, there's going to be nitro on their Astro carpet, whatever it is. but they've got ways of cleaning that off.
Sure.
And they're thinking about it, and what they've done there, again, incredible. And I've seen a lot of sort of negative press about it, and that's a real shame, because again, that's people putting in their time, effort, and somebody there actually putting in their money. So, you know, someone to be able to go on social media and go, well, that's not very good. You know, it's new. Let it develop. Before you make an opinion, let it evolve into what I think it would possibly be.
Sometimes I think with the negative press element, lots of arguments are settled just by asking that person to come and volunteer and help us make it better in their direction. All of a sudden, the argument seems to go away.
It does,
It's sounding off for whatever reason. Some sort of attempt at internet dominance or something, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, social media has been great for this hobby. You know, a lot of people go, oh, I hate social media. No, it's been amazing for this hobby. It's an amazing way to say how, you know, what we're doing and come to our races and advertise your racing. Unfortunately, it has the ability that people can now give that opinion right there and then, rather than wait until they see someone.
Yes.
You know, I always say, if someone don't like the way I'm doing something, come and talk to me.
Of course.
Don't go online and do it, because you're not going to get anywhere.
Yes.
You come and talk to me, it'll probably get sold. And 99% of the people do, and it's really good.
Well, it's great to see such a big organisation, and an organisation so busy is open to listening to anything at all, and you get yourself or John or Moses time.
Oh yeah, 100%. Everyone's, you know, we're always open to questions. We get a lot of questions. I'm not addressing now. Tyres. Can we save costs on tyres? And we're constantly looking at what we can do. It's an evolving thing, and how we can maybe make it better. But the emphasis of saving money is not all on the BRCA. You know, people can travel to races together. They can camp rather than book hotels.
Yes.
There's other ways of saving money. Although we want to save the racing money, I don't want to see anyone not racing because they can't afford it because of the way things are going. But we've got to work together, and it's going to be a two-way thing. It can't just be on us to go, well, I'll tell you what, you're going to do the whole season on one set of tyres.
Well, the tire thing is tricky. People like AstroTurf because it's low maintenance from the point of view. You run your car on, even on a wet day, you just blow it up, it's ready to go again. People also like the way that AstroTurf exploits the chassis of the car. You get the roll in at the corner to feel like you're on the track. You're not skating off. But the downside to that is you're going to use the tyres.
Yeah, you are.
You know? And you can, some people say, oh, you could use a harder tyre, go to Schumacher Blue or something like that. But if you've driven a Schumacher Blue on AstroTurf, it's not pleasant.
It's not pleasant.
It's not pleasant. No. Yellow is the tyre you need, and they wear out, and it's just collateral damage.
It is, and I did a touring car meeting national 2 weeks ago. You know, and although great, and you were limited to 2 sets of tyres in modified, in the stock classes they're limited to 1 set, but you go out to your 4th round of qualifying and there's people sitting it out. Okay, we could solve that. We could offer it, you could say, well, you get a new set for finals, but if they have 2 new sets for qualifying and you go out in rounds 1 and 2 and put blistering times out, are you going to go, well, I mean, in theory, you've got nothing to lose. You could go run those tyres in. You're probably not going to beat those times. And I don't like manipulated racing. I like pure. Everybody's going in there and to race at it. And there's the thing we've always talked about is you need a new set of run. But then I've had people, Phil Slade, for instance, he made an A final at Boughton on 2 sets. And that's maybe a bad example because Boughton isn't hard on tyres. But then a lot of people at Stotfold did it 2-3 sets. I've heard people today are running their tyres from Stotfold and not bolting new ones on. The top guys will bolt new ones on because they can. But not all of them necessarily do it all the time, but it's perceived that they do.
Yes.
So, there's a little bit of, let's look at something. I don't know what yet. I don't know the answer. And if someone does, great. It's something we've got to look at. But I'm very cautious of we have a really good series. It all works very well. And you don't want to ever start making knee-jerk reactions and changing a lot of it and ruining what's been built up through 20 years. And that's my biggest fear. That's probably my biggest fear of being chairman, is I don't want to change,
undo
all the good work. Yeah, so but evolution, and it has to happen, but little bits at a time, you know, and it will. One of the great things we've done this year, you know, you win a final, you get a prize.
Yeah.
I know it's silly and it's a bit of a gimmick and it's a bit of something, but we've had all these great sponsors, they've given us prizes, but I've seen kids going home absolutely smiling because they've won a hat and some tyres.
Yeah, going home with something, it's fantastic.
Which is great, rather than just, oh, well, I won my final, but well, what'd you get? Well, nothing, I just won it.
Yeah.
So, you know, and we've got the top 3 that win the meeting now get a trophy, where it used to just be the winner.
Sure.
Those are the
It's
middle,
nice having the podium.
and having the podium, you know. And I want to thank you for everything you've done. It's been, you know, I'm waking up on a Monday morning now and I'm seeing we've had a national.
Yeah, it's an important bit of it. You have to feel like you're part of something, and even if you don't win,
yeah,
there's a photo of your car, you were there.
Exactly.
There's a photo of your dad and you in the pits working on your car.
Yeah.
It's there. It's an important part of it.
Yeah, no, it is. So, you know, it's a good team. So,
Well,
yeah.
Thank you very much for taking the time to come and have a little chat.
No problem.
Let you go back to your racing.
Yeah,
Can't be long
no
until
problem.
you're out again.
Yeah, no, yeah, probably not.
And best of your
Yeah,
final
thank you
round
very much.
in Robin Hood.
Okay, cheers.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.